In the previous episode, we departed Buffelsrivier in the Karoo with the goal of avoiding tar roads at all costs, sticking to the gravel back roads and exploring new parts of the country. This plan came with its problems, like having to reroute at a point where the river had completely washed away the road, but it also allowed us to experience things that we'd never have seen from the comfort of the highway, like the Floriskraal Dam, remote Karoo Plains, and the gorgeous Kamanasi River Valley. In this episode, we'll be wrapping up our Shakedown trip with the last 330-kilometer leg of the journey, continuing with our mantra of gravel roads only, by following the Keurbooms River through to Vlugt, joining up with the iconic Prince Alfred Pass, and then following the R340 all the way to the coast at Keurbooms mouth. But before we get on the road this morning, we've got another evening around the fire to enjoy at Eagle Falls. Tonight we'll be cooking steak and mealies. But first, a beer. So for those of you who haven't seen inside of our canopy camper yet, this is what it looks like when the roof is popped up. Plenty of standing space. I can put my hands right above me and I still can't reach the roof. And then when we want to sleep, we just pop down the bed, which is over here. We climb up into the bed and have a sleep. But while it's popped up, it's a great place, if it's a bit windy like it is now. If we wanted to sit in here and make coffee in here, we could. We can have our bags up here when we're getting changed, get our clothes out, have privacy. We've got lots of sort of pockets and storage over here for all kinds of things. Fridge over there. And then this is obviously all a mess right now, but we'll have built-in cupboards here in the future. So that's sort of what this trip is for, to decide what to do with this space, to figure out what we need and what we don't need, because we want to build our cupboard space around the stuff that we have and not necessarily the other way around. If there's a specific thing that we really have to bring with on a trip, then we want it to be accessible. For example, the tire inflation and deflation stuff, that needs to be something that we can reach in the back here and grab whenever we need it. So that will likely stay in a pocket over here or just somewhere in a corner. And then obviously, cooking stuff, the gas geyser, all of that stuff, we need to figure out where's the best place to put it, how to get the waste distribution sorted and all of that. But yeah, so far the setup is working great. We do obviously have the table outside that we can pull out and cook on whenever we need to. And then we've got this whole area here with this front runner table, which you basically just do this to pop down, and there you go, you got a coffee station there too with all our utensils there. So yeah, so far really digging it. A few things that we don't like, for example, this silly little white roof over here. We found the bugs come sit on the roof, and then if they get smudged when you put the floor up, then you just see those marks on the roof and it's very hard to clean. So that's one thing we miss about our old Easy On tent, which just, in my opinion, just had a better designed roof. But aside from that, it's working well and we're enjoying it. This Gobi X spare wheel bag has been perfect for us, with the rear compartment acting as a garbage bag and the front compartment housing our braai grid. For dinner tonight, we're going back to the good old faithful braai. We veered off the straight and narrow yesterday by cooking on gas, but tonight we're back to the legitimate way of cooking, and we've got a well-rounded meal. We've got 2 mature sirloin steaks, 2 mealies, and we've got a bunch of garlic bread, which we'll cook all of it and see how far we get. But what we're going to do is the steak. We've got some olive oil, and we've got some spice from our friends at Diversity Blends. This is the Harakwil braai salt, which is my personal favorite. So we're going to put some of that on the steak. Just a bit of olive oil on both of them, and a bit of the braai salt. And then on the mealies, we're going to do the classic butter and aromat. and then we're going to put them inside some tin foil and yeah, cook them over the coals. So just a bit of butter, which we'll spread sort of all around them. Then I'm just going to take a bit of aromat. Done. There you go, food's all done, looks perfect. Steak is perfectly cooked. Got lots of braaibroodjies and mielies, so probably finished a bit earlier than we expected. We can enjoy a meal, we can get to bed, and tomorrow's our home stretch, so see you guys tomorrow. If you're curious about where Huxley has been sleeping on this trip, here's your answer. We're in the sleeping compartment up above, and his bed goes on the floor of the camper right below us. Morning at camp has a slightly different feel today, a bittersweet feel. It's a beautiful morning and we're enjoying every moment, but it will be our last morning on the trip as we'll be waking up in our own beds at home tomorrow. Well, yesterday when we arrived, it was very windy, so we didn't really hear any ambient noise from around the area, but woke up this morning to a loud sort of thundering sound. I thought it was maybe a strong wind outside. When I came outside and saw the leaves so still, I realized, hey, that's probably the waterfall. Sure enough, the waterfall's just down here in this valley. It's not as accessible from the campsite as we would have hoped, but what we're going to do is we're going to pack up, head towards the main reception area, and I think there's a hike from there that you can take down into the valley. Hopefully we can find the waterfall on foot, and then we'll have a quick breakfast after that, and we'll hit the road for part 2 of our journey home. Walk down to the waterfall's actually not too far, so we're going to take a quick hike down and hopefully get some nice views. But I hear we do have to cross the river to get to the viewpoint, and this is my off-road attire at the moment, so hopefully we have no issues. Turns out that we can see the falls without crossing any rivers, which is a relief. There are a number of smaller waterfalls leading up to the main falls with a path going to each one. The beauty of this place really surprised us. I've driven right past here many times and had no idea that this was here. The funny part is that the only reason that we booked here in the first place was that it was the only place we could find in the region that was pet friendly. We had no idea that it would be this pretty. Well, there you go guys, Eagle Falls on a beautiful sunny day with no wind, and we couldn't have timed it better because with all the rain that's been happening over the past few days, we've got lots of water flowing. It just goes to show, you know, the rain has caused us problems with being unable to drive certain roads and a lot of like washouts on the roads and long drives and all of that, but I wouldn't trade it for anything, and that's why you have a 4x4 vehicle that you kit out to be able to take you to places like this, even when the conditions aren't ideal. Otherwise you wouldn't have been seeing stuff like this. So yeah, I'm glad we got to see this. I wasn't sure whether the falls would be flowing or even accessible from where we're camping, but it was. But let's quickly go have some breakfast and then let's hit the road. Just above the waterfalls, there's a little restaurant and bar called the Eagle's Landing. Once again, a pleasant surprise. We decided to order a quick breakfast here, but there was nothing quick about it. We were treated to a full English breakfast with coffee, toast, and top-class service. Thank you. Very nice. Voila. The lady that runs this place was appalled that Huxley had to watch us eat, so she decided to bring him a sandwich. What a legend.
Oh, you must have breakfast also. Yeah, they can't eat without you.
Here we go.
She also gave us permission to pick some pomegranates on the way out. This is a working fruit farm growing figs,
pomegranates and prunes. But soon we were back on the road, heading south towards the Outeniquas mountains.
We are now on a road called the Joncksrus road, which connects the N9 to a place called Vlugt. And if you don't know what Vlugt is, it's kind of a little nexus point on the Prince Alfred Pass. That's a very well-known spot. Prince Alfred Pass is one of the classic passes by Thomas Bain. It connects Naasne to the Langkloof, and it's a beautiful road. We've done it quite a few times in the past. We're not going to be doing the entire pass. We're essentially coming down to Vlugt, and then we'll do a section of the Prince Alfred Pass, and then we'll turn off the Prince Alfred Pass once again and make a beeline for Keurbooms. But we're actually following the Keurbooms river at the moment on this road, and once again, very beautiful. We've got some of the mountains here to the north. I'm not sure if these are part of the Keurbooms mountains, but they're very close. And then we've got the Outeniquas mountains to the south of us. So once again, a beautiful drive, once again a new road that we've never driven before, and once again happy to be off the beaten track.
As we travel further down this road, the topography starts becoming more extreme, and we find ourselves snaking through a twisted road with the Outeniquas mountains all around us. Outeniquas means those who find honey, and it's believed that the Khoisan Bushmen, who originally inhabited this area for many thousands of years, were very adept at finding beehives and harvesting the honey. We descend further down the Keurbooms riverbed and eventually come to Vlugt, where the road joins up with the Prince Alfred Pass. If you go left from here, you join up with the Langkloof. If you go right, you end up at the coast. This is an iconic stop for overlanders and adventure bikers, and this little putt-style is always buzzing with activity. You definitely need to stop by here if you can. Of course, we need to head towards the coast, but we decide to just go north for a few minutes up the Prince Alfred Pass and to just park off at one of our favorite places. A series of small waterfalls and bridges deep in a kloof that just takes my breath away every time. In 1860, the legendary road builder Thomas Bain began his work on the Prince Alfred Pass. What makes this one special is that it's the longest pass in South Africa by a considerable margin at 68 kilometers, and also passes through 4 biomes: rainforest, fynbos, Afro-montane forest and Karoo. This particular section is my personal favorite, with a series of very old bridges crossing the river multiple times, waterfalls all around and cliffs on all sides. Eventually though, our time comes to leave and we turn south once again, making our way towards the coast. This southern leg of the Prince Alfred Pass from Vlugt down to the coastline climbs up and down different layers of hills, with the forest at the bottom and fynbos at the top, becoming greener and greener the further we go. The Outeniquas mountains provide a rain shadow which keeps the Karoo to the north dry and the coastal forests to the south wet. We could continue all the way to Knysna, but we take the turnoff towards the Keurbooms mouth on the R340, giving us views of Peak Formosa, the highest mountain in the area to our north. Formosa is actually Portuguese for beautiful, and named such by the Portuguese sailors in the 1600s on their way around the bottom of Africa. I tend to agree with them. This stretch of coastal belt is truly breathtaking. We keep descending through the pine forests, and when the gravel turns to tar near Plettenberg Bay, we come to the sad realization that our Shakedown trip has come to its end.
It is here where we reach the coastal end too that we're going to bring the episode and therefore the whole series to an end. It's been an absolute blast. I think we found the limit of what we can do with this whole setup. We have lots of ideas of how we can make it better, and that in itself is going to be a fantastic project to share with you. So if you enjoyed the series, please consider subscribing. We've got a lot more stuff to come, and as always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.